What started out as a robbery crew, upwards of 50 robberies, 20 individuals arrested for upwards of 50 robberies, and out of those 20 individuals, every single one of them is on the streets today. So
that's crazy. Now, there are reports that they're operating the Roosevelt Hotel, which used to be a very nice hotel in New York City. Now it's a migrant shelter. What are we talking about? What's going on inside this hotel that is now spilling out into the Times Square area?
Yeah, I mean, there's actually a recruitment process, and
He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
Well, he was asked about that specific...
No, that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and respect to you,
that was the question that we asked him.
You didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the President of the United States, in the United States of America, should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it.
Your uncle in Ohio said something about Kamala Harris is unfit to be a president because he doesn't have a child.
Okay.
That kind of shit is automatically demoted.
Are they doing a good job protecting our democracy? Because I can see these right-wing groups setting up Instagram accounts or Facebook accounts for that matter, right? And just start posting disinformation, be like, Harris is blah blah blah.
That's all going to be demoted 100%. The civic classifier is strong.
Would the person who posted that would he be notified that
the person would not be notified? But there's these things that we collect is if a bunch of items that if at least a couple of items that a person has created has violated civic classifier, then they're also red listed.
So is that called shadow banning?
Shadow banning.
Okay,
yeah.
so there will be shadow banning.
Correct.
They will never be shown. But so they will see a dip in impressions and engagement,
Yeah.
but they would not be officially warned of the reason why.
Correct.
Have the ability to influence the outcome of the election.
Yes.
Do you think Zuckerberg agrees? Good. He going to help the Democrats?
Yeah.
I mean, they try to take women's rights away.
I think
how do you guys control that hate speech?
there is team for integrity team.
Okay.
That's a large portion of it's a pretty significant team, and they build all these classifiers. The base level of defense system that Facebook has built now is they have built these things called civic classifiers. Civic classifier is a really large model that's been trained on civic content.
Okay.
So anything that it detects to be a civic content
Yeah.
is demoted.
Civic classifier? Okay, what does that mean?
That if anything is related to political content, it's automatically not unconnected stuff is not going to show up in your feed. Like ads, I think can show up, and they probably have a whole different process of vetting ads.
Okay.
But like unconnected content, like say your uncle in like Ohio said something about like Kamala Harris is isn't unfit to be a president because he doesn't have a child.
Okay.
That kind of shit is automatically demoted.
Every time I would see this deboost live stream kind of code on there.
And what does it mean when these documents say action deboost live distribution? What does the term deboost mean?
When I see reduce live distribution, it means preventing the distribution of this live.
And I've been clear that we have a number of efforts to find people and we terminate people and pursue the recourse that we have when we identify them. And in this case, we did find.
Would the person who posted that be made? Would he be notified that?
The person would not be notified, but there's these things that what you collect is like if a bunch of items that like if at least a couple of items that a person has created has violated civic classifier, then they're also red listed.
So is that called shadow banning?
Shadow banning.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they will be shadow banned.
Correct.
They will never be shown. But so they will see a dip in like impressions and engagement.
Yeah.
But they would not be like officially warned of the reason why. I'm afraid that we're gonna see a repeat of 2016 in 2024.
Okay.
I hate to put you on the spot, but I'm gonna do it anyway. What is your company doing to prevent that from happening?
God. Well, it's like
Like, how are you guys gonna fight that?
Well, I mean, there is a SWAT team that's already set up since like I think April to think about all the scenarios of how the platform could be viewed.
Are they doing a good job protecting our democracy? Because I can see these like right wing groups like setting up Instagram accounts or Facebook accounts for that matter, right? And just start posting this information, be like, Harris is like blah blah blah.
That's all going to be demoted 100%. The civic classifier is strong.
But if the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
You guys have the ability to influence the outcome of the election.
Yes.
Do you think Zuckerberg agrees? Good. Is he going to help the Democrats?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's like going to help
Oh, yeah.
Democrats, right?
100%.
Do you guys think this is normal for them to bring politics into school? And if they vote for, I live in California, by the way, but if you vote for Kamala Harris, then you're going to get a pizza party. But if you vote for Donald J. Trump, apparently you are excluded.
They said that my teacher was screaming at us saying the other class was voting Trump. So they don't get to use the pimple patches, not the school supplies for the girls. They don't get to use the computers, the chargers, or the, the scrunchies, the deodorant, or stuff like that.
Okay, so you guys don't get to use this stuff. It's okay. And then what was said about the pizza party?
That we don't get the pizza party because only the kids only our class that voted Kamal get to eat the pizza party, but some of the kids didn't vote for Kamal, they voted for Trump.
So then what's going to happen to them?
They're not going to be included. Only the kids that voted for Kamal.
Hello.
So I had a couple questions for you. So I heard that Giselle was telling me that you had mentioned that the kids that are not going to attend the pizza party are the kids who voted other than Kamala.
Wait, say it again?
That you had told the class that whoever votes for Kamala will get a pizza party, but those that don't will not be included in the pizza party.
For Harris?
Yeah.
What period is your daughter in?
I am not sure.
So I believe only one period 5, had a majority for Harris.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and to follow that same spirit, because the Democrats are more for feeding the hungry, free medical care, feed more services, just pay higher taxes, that I'll be willing to buy pizza for the class.
Okay.
What did she say? Said
you are willing to buy pizza for the class for those who win with Harris, right?
for those that voted for Harris?
Yeah.
Is she in period 5? If she's not in period 5, we're just doing a regular day.
Oh, okay. So
she's in period 5, it's the entire class.
Giselle, what period are you with this teacher? 5. So she is in period 5.
Okay. So I'm going to try for tomorrow for pizza, if not Friday.
So the other classes, because they did not vote for Harris, they're not going to get pizza?
Yeah. Well, they can. They just do what the conservatives do, which pay for yourself.
Oh, that's fine. Can I take some pizza for those other classes?
For those other classes? What do you mean?
The ones that voted for Trump.
You can.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I am a little bit upset. I'm extremely upset because if this was the other way around, and I were to go to people's houses and I'm like, hey, do you want a bag of food? Who did you vote for? You know, like, this is not Cuba. Like that's not okay to do. You know, like
I don't think Cuba they have a right to vote though.
Exactly. So if there's a right to vote in this country, we should be able to vote for whoever we want with no prices in return.
Yeah, I agree.
So right now, I'm about to drive my wife to a federal facility. She has to surrender herself there, and this is due to the Harris-Biden administration. And any husband in this country, you know, anyone that's married knows, any mother, any father knows that separation from your loved one, separation from a mother and a daughter at 2 years old is traumatic, and no American citizen should have to experience this in this country. Obama has the audacity to speak to black men and tell black men they need to vote for Kamala Harris, when Kamala Harris administration is separating me from my wife and my wife from her daughter at 2 years old for unlawful assembly. My wife is facing 3.5 years for unlawful assembly and federal time, y'all. Okay, federal time. And it's devastating for our family, but we're gonna get through this. But I want people to know in this country, mothers, fathers, single mothers, that this cannot be tolerated, and you should not vote for Kamala, because voting for Kamala would do things like this, right? It's unacceptable, and yeah, that's what I have to say. That's what I have to say regarding it. The Biden-Harris administration made me a single father. You know, I always envisioned growing up to be married and have my child, and that's what we did. We did things the right way. Even if you don't do things the right way, you don't make a father a single father. You know, you don't do things like that. And for the fact that Obama is going to go lecture black men and tell black men they need to vote for Kamala Harris, and this is what she's doing to black families in this country. She's been doing this even in California, if you look at her record. So Americans, go out and vote, but I encourage y'all, I implore y'all to vote for number 45, Donald Trump.
Google, mommy gonna miss you. I love you so much. I love you, pretty girl. And I love you too, baby.
You would almost have to be a fucking fool to not know what's going on in the world today. Does anybody remember E. Jean Carroll? The essay claim that was brought up against Trump? I do. When there was actually no results at all, but she still got to come forward and tell her story, because as liberals, we're going to hear essay stories no matter what. But now that there's an allegation out about old Touchdown Timmy, we ain't going to listen to the story at all, are we? We're just going to sweep that shit right under the rug and move on with the election. We are 2 fucking weeks away from election day, and you guys are acting like nothing's happened. This guy has came out and described tattoos that we wouldn't even fucking know had if this guy hasn't told us about them. You're talking about somebody who has had their stomach pumped from fucking horse secretion. Why is this man on the stage running for our fucking vice president? Please explain this to me, because I would love to hear your explanation. I would love to fucking hear it. All you blue-hearted Democrats that blow my shit up, get my account banned, why are you voting for this man? Let's hear it.
Project Bluebeam.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe what that is?
Well, that's another subculture term that's been attached to a series of projects that involve what the Pentagon, what they call a deceptive indication and warning, or a false INW, which is a false flag. And it's the ability to stage, through very advanced technologies, an alien attack or an alien event. And it's a whole series of them. Now, what most people don't know about, since late 50s, early 60s, like the Barney Hill case and all that, those were all human assets abducting innocent people made to look alien. And so that psychological warfare was authorized in 1953, 54. 1954, we mastered gravity control. So we started deploying these assets to begin to condition the public that there's a scary threat from outer space.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at Hollywood, Alien, Ridley Scott's, the movies. If you want to see a script for what's coming fairly soon, look at the movie Independence Day.
Okay.
It's right at a central casting for this covert group. So what their whole purpose is to create sort of a global militarized totalitarian superstate of the world fighting another world. It's like War of the Worlds.
Somebody tell Jennifer Gartner to shut the fuck up. Again, another celebrity is trying to convince us to vote for Mala Hoocha Mama Her with that giggly ass laugh. She want to let y'all know that she's voting for Mala, and she wants you all to vote for Mala. Like, girl, you crazy? If you don't go take your 13 going on 60 ass the fuck up out of here, who you trying to convince? While your life is prospering, everyone else is in danger. Oh, but vote for Mala because the production right. Is that gonna pay my motherfucking bills? I think not. If I vote for Mala because of that one fucking reason, are you gonna pay my motherfucking bills? Are you gonna lower these groceries? Are you gonna lower these gases? Are you gonna take care of the immigration issues? Are you gonna take care of world leaders and they fucking destructive personality? Because I vote for Mala because this won't. Girl, you don't get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. You want me to listen to you. Girl, every time we see you in the fucking photo and one of them damn paparazzi takes, you always crying and shit. You want us to listen to you. Girl, just on the stage laughing and shit like the last 4 years has been fucking laughable.
They do not want your children to be educated. They do not want you to think too much. That is why our country and our world has become so proliferated with entertainments, mass media, game shows, television shows, amusement parks, drugs, alcohol, and every kind of entertainment to keep the human mind entertained, so that you don't get in the way of important people by doing too much thinking. You had better wake up and understand that there are people who are guiding your life and you don't even know it. And all American citizens, I think, have suspected something like this is going on. But we're all too busy trying to stay alive and live our lives. And after all, what can one person do about it?